Hey guys, my name is Donnie and welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me. In today's video, it's going to be a little different than the other ones because I just want to show you guys the next project that I've got lined up, and I'm super excited about it. Hopefully if I show you guys what it is, I can get some of you guys' input and we can make something really awesome with this thing. So without any further ado, here we go. Ta-da! Okay, so what I'll do is I'm just going to unpack it, pack it out on the floor so that you guys can see exactly what it is that we got. This, guys, is a Messerschmitt KR200. It's probably one of the weirdest, coolest little micro cars that was ever built after the war, and there are not very many left of these little cars, and they've become really scarce and rather expensive. This one is I've seen ones that are in better condition, concourse if you may, but this one's got potential, and that's the way I like it. Also, most of them were three-wheelers. This one was a three-wheeler, but at a later stage there was 500cc models brought out with four wheels, which I also fancy quite a lot. So my plan for this thing was that just sandblast it and have it primed, and maybe one day restore it to its former glory, because these little cars are really worth quite a lot, and they are really fabulous little cars. But after I bought it, my mind started wandering, and I started thinking of what we could do with a little car like this, and maybe go and build something that is a modern representation of this car with a modern drivetrain, maybe even four wheels, and make something that would make Messerschmitt proud if they were still building these cars to this very day. Now the thing is, I don't really want to ruin this piece of metal, even though, as you can see, it's not in the best of conditions, but it would be a travesty if I was to go and cut this thing up into pieces and make something different out of it. But luckily, ta-da, there was some extra spares that came with this car. There's a whole nose and a whole rear end, and even though it's not much, I've got a plan in my brains, and I think that we can make something really awesome out of this. My thinking is buying something like a modern, big, fast quad bike. We've got wishbone suspension, we've got a proper engine, maybe a 600cc motor with a 6-speed gearbox, disc brakes all around, and build a car that looks exactly like a Messerschmitt, maybe a bit modernized with a bit bigger wheels on it, and make something that can actually drive on the highway at speed that you can actually use as a daily driver, if something like this could ever become a daily driver. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my workbench or my table, and I'm just going to draw up a couple of pictures that I had in mind, and then maybe I can show you guys what I'm thinking, and I'd really appreciate it if you guys can give me your input. But I think that this thing could really become one of the most awesomest little projects that you've seen in a very long time. So here we go. Hey guys, so my idea is I'm gonna just draw out a sketch of a Messerschmitt, one that I just got off the internet, and then I'm gonna draw what my idea is, or the best way I can draw an original little Messerschmitt, and then I'm gonna trace it or copy it and do some tweaks with it, and I don't know, just see where it takes me and what kinds of ideas I can put on paper, but that is definitely by no means the final product, but at least it'll give us some sort of an idea of where we're going to go with this little thing. So let's get to it. Okay, so before I started to try and draw a three-dimensional picture, I first drew out a couple of smaller two-dimensional pictures just that I could see what it would look like from the side with a bit of a longer wheelbase, low to the ground and so on. Just get some idea of what I was thinking of where I would like to go with this, and then I could continue to try and draw a couple of three-dimensional pictures to get a better idea of what it would look like. Okay, so after I was satisfied with the two-dimensional pictures, I got a picture of the internet and I started drawing it out in 3 dimensions. First using a pencil to do the outlines, and when I was satisfied with the lines, I'd go over it with a pen, making it darker. I first drew out an original Messerschmitt just because it would be much easier to basically just copy what it would look like, and then I could use this picture as a stencil to start drawing a couple of other renditions of my idea of a bit more of a modern Messerschmitt. Okay, when I was done with the first picture, I put a blank piece of paper over that picture and just copied the nose of the original car, because that's the only thing that would have remained the same. And then I started drawing out my rendition of a Messerschmitt three-wheeled version convertible with a bit of a longer wheelbase, and also I did slope the windscreen a bit more than the original car. So yeah, it just took me a while to get the idea or the feel, bit larger wheels and so on. And when that was done, I could continue to the next picture. Okay, so the second rendition or my third drawing was I decided to make a four-wheeler with a closed top, a bit more of a sporty model, and see how that came out. Okay, so what do you guys think? That's the original. That's what it'll look like if it's fully restored, or my rendition of that. So it's either going to be a three-wheeler or a four-wheeler. Um it's either going to be like a cruiser, open top cruiser. I made this one and that one's wheelbase a bit longer than this one because it's going to have a larger engine, a bit more modern. And that's supposed we can make something like a carbon fiber roof on that one. So it'll either be a closed top or an open top, a bit more of a sporty and a bit more of a cruiser type of Messerschmitt. Um, but yeah, guys, let me know in the comments what you think and which one you'd prefer. And if you've got any other suggestions, please comment that in the comments as well, so that we can make something amazing out of this little car. Okay, so after looking at those pictures for a couple of days, I decided to draw one last or a third rendition of Messerschmitt, um, that just so that we could see what that would look like, because that's just the way these things go. It's like an evolution. It just evolves, and you get better and better ideas as you go along. But like I said, once again, that's just my idea or the feel that I have. And when you start building the car, things also change all the time. So it's not as if this is cast in stone. It's just an idea that I have to get the feel of where we're going to go with this thing. Okay guys, so after speaking with the fam, we decided or came to the conclusion that we really wanted to stick with the three-wheeler, keep with tradition of the original Messerschmitts, and also what we really would like to have is a two-stroke engine, something like of a Banshee quad motorcycle or something like that. I think that would be really cool, getting a two-stroke modern engine in this thing and keeping it a three-wheeler, which will be really super cool. But any guys, I'm really open to any types of suggestions, and like I said, this is just to get you guys as excited as I am about the next project. We're gonna continue with the 33 little Austin and finish that one up and make it beautiful, and then I think this one is on the short list of projects that we've got lined up for this year. But anyway guys, if you enjoy it, consider subscribing so that you guys can follow me with beautiful little works like this, and do leave your comments. I really appreciate it, even the ones that are critical. It just makes me do a better job. But thank you, I'll see you next time. Cheers.